All right, so in this video, we're going to prove the congruent supplements theorem. Now, the whole idea of this theorem is that if two angles are supplementary to the same angle, then it turns out those two angles are congruent. And in this case, what we're saying is that angle 1 and angle 2 are both supplementary to the same angle, angle 3. It turns out we're able to prove from that angle 1 and angle 2 are congruent. And that's the whole idea. Now, to start out this proof, we're going to first construct a statements of reasons table. And for our first step, I'm just going to rewrite what we're given right here. And notice that I abbreviated it slightly. This is the way that I like to typically abbreviate supplementary angles. Now, for step 2, we can apply the definition of supplementary angles. And if you recall, supplementary angles are two angles whose measures add to 180 degrees. So from that definition, that means that the measure of angle 1 plus the measure of angle 3 equals 180 degrees, and the measure of angle 2 plus the measure of angle 3 equals 180 degrees. So this is based on the definition of supplementary angles. Now, take a look at what we wrote here very carefully. Notice that we have two things that are both equal to 180 degrees. Therefore, we can set these two things equal to each other. That is, we can say that measure of angle 1 plus measure of angle 3 equals measure of angle 2 plus measure of angle 3. And that's just because these two things are both equal to 180 degrees, so they must be equal to each other. If you recall, this is the transitive property. More specifically, the transitive property of equality. And we're actually able to do something with this equation. Notice that we have measure of angle 3 on both sides of the equation. Therefore, we can actually subtract the measure of angle 3 on both sides of the equation. And as you can see, it's going to go away. And as a result, you're left with measure of angle 1 equals the measure of angle 2. Now, if you recall, the property that allows us to do this is the subtraction property of equality. And notice, we're really close. All we have to do now is use the definition of congruent angles, right? The definition of congruent angles is that congruent angles have equal measures. Therefore, angle 1 must be congruent to angle 2 by definition. And that's by the definition of congruent angles. And so here it is. We have proven that angle 1 is congruent to angle 2 from the fact that both angle 1 and angle 2 are supplementary to the same angle. And that's the whole idea of the congruent supplements theorem. And yeah, that's pretty much it for this video.